Hi everyone, welcome back to the Abundant Wellness Podcast. I'm your host Shaylee. If you're just tuning in for the first time, I am a certified holistic health coach. I help my clients achieve their dream lives through holistic habit building, positive mindset shifts, just overall tips to help them live a more abundant life. If that's something you're interested in, you're welcome to stay tuned. Today we're going to be covering the topic of romanticizing your life. As you can see this week, I got a tiny little mic. I thought that would be a little bit better for you guys to hear me. I'm just holding it today because it didn't quite fit on my sweater the way I wanted it to, so we're just going to hold it like a tiny microphone. All right, so if you've never heard about romanticizing your life before, I thought I would cover what the definition is of romanticizing. So the dictionary definition says to make romantic or invest with a romantic character, or to hold romantic notions, ideas, etc. So that's the literal definition of romanticizing. For me personally, it's to create intentional and whimsical moments of everyday mundane life. I noticed when I started romanticizing my life, I was able to enjoy it so much more. A lot of our day-to-day life doesn't look like how it does on social media. A lot of it is definitely people's highlight reels of amazing trips they've been on, amazing food that they eat, or amazing things that they're experiencing. And I think that's wonderful to share that and to see it as well. But it's definitely not everyone's daily life. A lot of the times we are doing our daily jobs, our daily chores that maybe we don't want to do, and just doing our daily routines. I feel like when I made those mundane tasks intentional and romanticized them, that I was able to create a space for myself to truly appreciate and create gratitude where I was. And it just made it that more fun, because that's what daily life is really. It's those mundane moments that add up just to over your life. And of course you do have pockets of adventures and really fun, amazing places you go and food that you eat, but a lot of it and majority of the time our day-to-day life is just normal, and normalcy can be just as magical as those little moments that you do share on social media as well. All right, so now that we covered what romanticizing is and what it means for me personally, I wanted to cover about why people do it. Why has this become a trend? Why should we start romanticizing our life, and is it unhealthy to do so? Because I definitely understand there's a balance with everything. We don't want to romanticize our life too much that any sort of pain that we may be going through, other people may be going through, we just kind of ignore it because we're trying to make everything romantic. I think it's definitely a balance with that. Of course, I feel like just having the self-awareness to know of when it's time to create those intentional moments that are a bit more magical and whimsical and fun. And of course, things in reality sets in when we need to be a bit more practical in what we do day to day and how we approach things as well. So I just definitely want to cover on the ways that when you do have those intentional moments of the mundane life that you can implement romanticizing your life, of how to do it, and why to do it, why it would make such a big difference in changing your life. It definitely did change my life. Personally, I started romanticizing my life intentionally a couple of years ago, and one of the reasons I mainly did it is I felt like I was just kind of going through the motions of life. I'd have my day-to-day tasks I'd have to do every day with chores and with work and taking care of myself, and it was more of like a robotic routine rather than me fully being present with the moment. And I feel like romanticizing is such presence. A good example is when we watch those old Victorian shows or movies, we see them live such a slow life, and it's very mundane. Sometimes of course they do go on adventures, but a lot of the times we see them having those intentional conversations, living with such intentionality of their day-to-day tasks, that just makes it seem so whimsical and magical when we do a lot of those things already day in and day out. And I think us taking that time and choosing to enjoy and seeing every moment as a true gift is what really changes your mindset to find opportunities of where you can romanticize your life. So a few things that romanticizing your life will do for you is it'll bring gratitude. I feel that when you do daily tasks of even like, let's say one thing I don't like doing for sure is washing the dishes. I try to bring more intentionality with it. So when I do something that I don't want to do, such as washing dishes, I will do something that brings me joy along with it, that makes it a little bit more fun for me. I'll put on a funny video of YouTuber that I really like watching, or I will listen to some calming music if I want to relax for the day while I'm doing my dishes as well. And I'll just kind of bring gratitude into that moment. I'll be thankful that I have dishes to wash, that I'm able to make meals for myself and for my family, and to be able to clean those dishes and put them away, and that they're something that I have. Bring that intentionality and gratitude with your moments is so important when you're making your cup of coffee in the morning, to really, not, you don't have to do it slowly, but just to be a bit more intentional with gratitude and understanding, like there's people that worked really hard to get me these coffee beans, to me then make my own cup of coffee to start my day. And just kind of having those intentional moments and that gratitude with mundane things that we take for granted every day. I feel like definitely helps me to romanticize my life and keeps me grounded in the blessings that God has given me, for sure. And I think that's been very helpful in my journey with learning how to romanticize my life. Another thing that has been a great reason to romanticize my life is to live a bit of a slower pace. If you listen to my first episode of my podcast, I talked about how I went through a really bad case of burnout a couple of years ago, and I just was on the fastest pace imaginable. I was just trying to rush through everything. I had no intention with anything. I was just trying to get it done, and I just felt so tired at the end of the day and eventually getting burned out. Romanticizing my life and slowing down, I feel like they kind of go hand in hand, because when you read a book or watch a movie, you're seeing or reading those characters slowly fall in love. It's normally not like instantaneous. It's normally a build up and little moments that add up to a great love at the end of the story. And I feel like I want to do that with my own life. You can fall in love with yourself. It doesn't have to be a romantic partner. You're with you from beginning to end. And I feel like it's so important to fall in love with yourself and to create that lasting, loving relationship with yourself, to speak positively over yourself, to have gratitude for the things that you do have, and to slow down to really appreciate those amazing things that you do have in your life, those friendships that you have, those relationships that you have, the things you like about yourself. I feel like with romanticizing your life, you really slow down so you're able to see those intentional moments that really build up that romantic relationship that you have with yourself, just like you would see in a movie or a book. So these are my personal reasons why I do like to romanticize my life. I just want to really soak in the gratitude and the beautiful moments that I have in my day-to-day mundane life. I personally want to live a slower paced lifestyle where I don't feel like I'm constantly rushing everywhere and feel like I need to be at the next place when I can. Of course, I do understand that people have busy schedules, and sometimes I'll have very busy days where I can't live intentionally as I want to with romanticizing my life, but I do try to make sure there are little pockets of those moments that I can create intention, whether that's my shower right before bed, whether that's making a cup of tea when I get home to wind down, or just watching even like a funny show that I don't really have to think too much about, just something that's fun and that brings me joy, or reading as well. I feel like creating even a little moment once a day that's fully romanticizing your life and those self-care moments for yourself is so important. And that is definitely why I do romanticize my life. I feel much more gratitude. I feel a lot calmer when things do come up, since I'm not rushing all the time anymore, and I have constantly in the back of my mind all of the things that I am thankful for and that gratitude behind those special moments that I make, that once something does go wrong or it does come up, I'm a bit more patient with it, knowing that I have all these things that I'm blessed with, and I can get through whatever this challenge is. I'll be able to take away a lasting lesson for myself with those challenges. All right, so we covered what romanticizing your life is, why I personally romanticize my life, and maybe why you would romanticize your life. And now we're going to move on to how you would actually do that. So there's a lot of ways you can do it. It kind of never ends. That's what the fun thing about romanticizing your life is that it never really does end. You just create intentional moments and peaceful moments wherever you can. A few examples of where you start to romanticize your life if you're definitely new at it. One I noticed that I started with was romanticizing daily tasks and chores. There's stuff we have to do as being an adult day to day that we don't want to do, such as cleaning the kitchen, making dinner, going to our job. So those types of things, you can create little romanticized moments just to make it a little bit better. Even if you love any of those things, even making it a little bit more fun and more special is something that can greatly impact your mental health. And I feel like romanticizing your life really does bring such a positive mindset to your mentality of life, just because everything's so fun. And why wouldn't you want to make stuff more fun? We have such imagination as kids, and everything is so whimsical, and we truly romanticize as children. And as we get older, we kind of lose that, just with, the day-to-day stresses of life and the obligations and responsibilities we have. But I feel like creating ways to connect with that inner child and making things more whimsical and fun makes life that much more special. So with your chores or with your job, there's a couple examples you could do. So like I said, with dishes, I'll put on a show, or I'll listen to a podcast or music of something that I really enjoy to make it a bit more fun for myself. If you're at your job, you can, maybe that plain cubicle that you have, you can start decorating a little bit with something that makes you feel happy, with colors that make you feel happy, with photos of your family, or something that you are working towards attaining, a goal that you have with your job, whether that's a new position, or maybe you're saving up for a new purse or a trip to go on with your family, having something there that just gives you that extra little boost of happiness and motivation, I feel like is definitely a way you can romanticize your life. I feel like with making dinner, like I said, sometimes we can kind of be on autopilot with life, and we're just like, all right, let's make dinner. I just got off work, I'm exhausted. And it's not quite playing pretend either. Like, definitely honor your feelings. If you're tired, you're tired, and that's okay too. You don't have to. Romanticizing your life, I feel like, doesn't have to mean you're fake. I just feel like it means to be present with yourself. You can make any sort of moment special. So maybe you are tired from when you come home from work and you're like, I do have to make dinner for my family. Maybe have your kids help you a little bit. If they're at the age they can help you to cook, you can kind of make a special moment out of something, and you can have a little bit of help since you are tired. I feel like just creating those intentional moments is something as small as that can be a great help to you and maybe create a lasting memory for you and your family. Another way to romanticize your life is definitely hobbies. I got into hobbies, I would say last year was like when I fully delved into it. A hobby of mine I've had since I was a little girl is reading. I have, like, behind the camera and everything, I have so many books. I have like a gigantic bookshelf over here, and then I have another smaller bookshelf right here. I have loved reading since I was a little girl. I got that from my mom, and it's so much fun for me to like delve into a different world and to get different perspectives of life, and just to have new adventures without having to leave my house, which is super, super fun sometimes. I feel like I was able to delve into more hobbies that I was curious about last year. I love reading. That is definitely something that'll be a top priority of mine for hobbies. But I wanted to kind of delve into other things I did as a kid that I haven't really visited since I was a child. Romanticizing your life, you're kind of connecting and nurturing the inner child of yours. So I thought about things I did as a kid. I would crochet as a kid. My mom taught me how to do that. I wasn't very good at it, but I thought I'd be able to learn a bit better. Now that I'm older, I learned how to crochet. I started coloring again. I loved coloring as a little girl, and I got a coloring book for Christmas. I've been coloring a lot, and I absolutely love it. It's so grounding and relaxing to me. Other hobbies I've been doing have been scrapbooking pages in my journal. So I've been keeping a journal since I was about, I would say 10, but like consistently since I was 13. I used to put scraps of like anything I was doing, and it essentially looked like garbage. But now that I'm older and I look back at those memories, I'm able to like piece memories together of, oh, I went here with this friend and I forgot I went to this concert, and it's just really fun to look back on. Like, one of my best friends, Alexis, we've been friends for over 10 years now. I have a receipt of the first time we went out to eat together. It was our first time hanging out. We went to an acai place, and I have the receipt of that, and I wrote down acai lunch with Alexis, and that was over 10 years ago. That was so special to see that again recently. It was so amazing to have that little glimpse and pocket of my, 15-year-old self, to see that in my journal. So I've been doing that a bit more recently with just day-to-day adult life. So if there's like a little wristband of somewhere I've gone, or if there's a receipt somewhere, or even a photo I've taken with my friends on my Polaroid camera, I'll stick it in my journal. It's like a little scrapbook, and it's really fun. And I've been doing that again. That's been a really fun hobby of mine. Finally, another hobby of mine that I've been doing recently is puzzles. I love puzzles. I'm very much type A. I like, if there's like chaos, I like to bring order to it. So puzzles have been really fun for me. I've been doing one on like an Aurora Borealis photo, so I've been doing that. That's been really fun. But just finding hobbies of things that you tried as a kid that you really enjoyed and you haven't visited for a while, and you just kind of forgot about it, or you don't have the time for it. See if you can set aside even 30 minutes of your day just to intentionally do your hobby and romanticize your life a bit more than what you are day to day. I feel like is so important. So if you have 30 minutes in between dinner and doing the dishes where you normally watch a show, definitely do that. But then see if you want to crochet a little something while you're watching the show, or do a puzzle, or glue something in your scrapbook, or just try another hobby that you want to do. See if you can make that moment of watching your show a little bit more special, because you get to do something fun for yourself as well, while also doing something fun while watching the show you like. So that's another way you can romanticize your life, is definitely with hobbies. And I can create, I know a lot of people have been kind of getting back into hobbies. We live in such a digital age where things are so instantaneous, and people have so much entertainment now that we don't really do hobbies as much as we used to. I know people are trying to kind of get back into it, so I can definitely make a separate video about more hobbies and ideas to do if that's something you guys are interested in. But hobbies is definitely another way you can definitely romanticize your life and be a bit more intentional with it. All right, and finally, the third way that you can romanticize your life is creating special moments within your life. And it doesn't have to be on a special occasion day. One example of that is getting ready. I personally love getting ready, whether it's a normal day and I'm not really doing anything, or I'm going out and having a good time with friends or family. But getting ready, I noticed for a lot of people, it makes them feel really confident. It makes them feel really good. It makes them feel like they took care of themselves. I feel like people really will overlook themselves and take care of everything else, and then they're finally the last thing on the list at the end of the day. I feel like taking care of yourself first is such a way you can romanticize your life, and it will not only take care of you, but it will take care of everyone in your life as well. Being able to feel confident in how you feel that day, whether that's with getting ready or whether that's just giving yourself an extra 30 minutes to do something that you enjoy, is something that has such great benefits for you and how you carry yourself throughout the day and how you treat others throughout the day and how you see yourself. And I feel like that's so important, and I feel like that's definitely a way of romanticizing your life. One way for me definitely to feel my best is to get ready, and I definitely don't think it is for special occasions. I feel like you are worth it and you are a special occasion every single day. Whether I'm not like getting full glam every day, I at least will, like, you know, put on some perfume, I'll put on a comfy lounge that makes me feel really good. Something that for you as you're getting ready, whatever that is to you, I feel like to definitely do that. Doing something that's intentional for you is getting ready. It doesn't have to be for a special occasion. It can be for you, and you are a special occasion. I feel like that's so important. And with that, creating special occasion moments in day-to-day life, I think is something that can greatly help you to romanticize your life, whether that's with getting ready, whether that's with making a dinner that you love to eat, but you maybe only have it on a special occasion. Make it on a Tuesday. You had you had a rough day at work, and you're like, I want something that's going to make me feel really good. Or it's a normal Tuesday. I went through my day to day. It was normal and fine. But I'm craving that meal that I wanted, that I get like once I make once a year for like a special occasion. Make it on that Tuesday. Why not? It doesn't have to be anything crazy to celebrate. You can just be celebrating you. You could just be celebrating life. I feel like that's important. Put it on that nice china you got for your wedding. So why not? We really, not to get too philosophical, we really don't know how long we're going to be here. And I feel like having that intentionality, having the gratitude, like I said, with your life, just makes things that much more special. You can also do that with just day-to-day life. Like I want to definitely host more girls' nights with my girlfriends this year, just for fun, like just to celebrate like the changing of seasons, or a promotion for somebody, or an accomplishment, just to celebrate and give people gifts that I love for just little things, or just cause I feel like is so important. That's a great way to romanticize your life. Getting yourself flowers at the grocery store just because, making that special meal just because, buying yourself that necklace, or buying something that you really wanted for yourself just because, giving something to somebody else just because. I feel like living your life positively and romanticizing it just because is something that gives you such courage, because if you are willing to do something and romanticize your life and make something special just because, you're going to be able to see your life in more positive light and see more opportunities that you didn't see before, and you might take those chances and feel confident and ready to do them just because you did the small things with romanticizing your life, and now you feel confident enough to do something that you've wanted to do for a long time. I feel like it definitely, a lot with my like holistic health that I teach my clients, it really does, everything does snowball into each other. And I feel like something such as small as romanticizing your life can make a great impact on your mental health, and then of course your life and the decisions you make. And of course with that, life tends to life, and things do go negatively, things do go wrong. There's stuff that we all go through, and I feel like being kind to each other and being kind to yourself is so important. And there's going to be days where, you know what, you don't have time to create a romantic moment in your life. I definitely don't ever want romanticizing your life to seem like it's you pretending. I feel like it's being intentional when you can, and not taking for granted for the beautiful moments that you do have in your day-to-day life. And I think with romanticizing your life, you can create even more beautiful moments if you take the chance to look around and see them. So I hope you enjoyed the second episode of the Abundant Wellness Podcast. I hope I give you some wonderful tips on how to romanticize your life. I think it's so important to take care of yourself. It can truly change your life and change others' lives by you being there for you and taking care of yourself. And I hope I was able to give you some wonderful tips on how to do that and see your life in a bit more of a positive way, to see those little moments and to create those little pockets of love and romanticism within your life. If there's ways that you romanticize your life, please let me know in the comments down below. Or if there's ideas that you want to do to start romanticizing your life, please let me know about those as well. I do hope you'll have a blessed day, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.